Hey everyone, this is Tom from tombell.co, and in this quick video I just want to answer a question that I get a fair amount from basically athletes that are doing interval training. And that question is, as you can probably see in the title, how long should the recovery intervals be? So the rest periods between your work intervals. Now what I always say as my answer is that it depends on what the goal of the session is. If your goal is to be able to put out lots of power with very short recovery, so like in a race where attacks will be going one after the other or something along those lines, having short recoveries between work intervals will help you to ride hard in the presence of lactic acid and teach you to really sort of surge and put out lots of power when your rest intervals are very, very short and actually don't really function much as rest because they're just too short for any kind of real recovery. However, if your goal of the session or the interval workout is to accumulate as much training time as you can at high intensities and really push to achieve really high power outputs, if you shorten recoveries too much, you're not going to be able to repetitively go to those high outputs. Essentially, you won't be achieving the goal of the session because your subsequent intervals will likely be weaker and weaker, and it'll get to the point where you're not even hitting the sort of minimum necessary power that you need to fulfill the goals of something like a VO2 max session, or even threshold if you make the recoveries too short. So some coaches might say, or some athletes as well might say, that creating a workout that has very, very short recoveries is going to be a better workout in terms of training stress score, but in actual fact it could be a much worse workout because you're not doing what you need to do in those work intervals. Again, if your goal is to put out high amounts of power that are close to your sort of personal bests for those work intervals. Generally speaking, I think recoveries, some people go along the rule of they should be half what the work interval is, but I really don't subscribe to that at all. It's more about how much recovery you need to then be able to do the necessary work in the work interval again. So if you're doing really short, really high power anaerobic type intervals that maybe are 30 seconds or less, you're definitely going to need sort of multiple minutes of recovery for that. And to be honest, when it gets to longer intervals towards sort of 3, 4, 5 minutes and even up to sort of 8 minutes, there doesn't seem to be, from the studies that I've read and from personal experience, there doesn't seem to be a big difference between the effect of a 4-minute recovery to a 3-minute recovery. So generally speaking, after about 2 or 3 minutes, most athletes are ready to go again, and any more recovery doesn't really seem, there's diminishing returns essentially, and any more recovery doesn't have that much of a large effect. Again, that's a general statement though. If individually you don't need that much recovery at all and you can go and hit the necessary work intervals, then go ahead. You might also be someone on the flip side that needs a lot more recovery, so more towards a sort of 5 minutes between work intervals, if those work intervals are sort of 3 minutes and above. So basically it comes down to individuality and but mainly the goal of the training session. So ask yourself what the purpose of the workout is and go from there basically. So I hope that helps to answer that question if you were thinking about it yourself, and hopefully that helps you to design more purposeful and successful interval training. Thanks again guys, and I'll catch you on another video soon.